Hey, this is Carlo at 4GQ TV here with a very special interview. I'm here with my co-host Paul, also known as Cerebral Paul in the podcast community. But our special guest today is Nina Bergman, who is a fantastic actress and has also voiced in Black Ops 4, I believe, where the character was based on you.
Yes, but it's me. The character's me with a
Yes.
mohawk.
Yes, that is
Yeah, they mocap me. Yeah, it's me.
that's awesome. Uh, so Nina, the first question I always like to start off with is, how
Yeah.
did you get involved in acting? What led you to this career?
I knew I was gonna do it since I was a young kid. I grew up in Denmark and I have Russian grandparents, and my grandfather was like a very well-known, respected actor, Ivan the Terrible, Chekhov's favorite. So since my grandma was an opera singer, so since I was 4 years old, I was performing. I was a ballerina. My dad worked in TV, so I created my own little TV show at 7 years old. I was like, I've just always done it. I was a performer. I didn't have any other talents, and I just had to express. Otherwise, I would just explode.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. So, creating a TV show at 7 years old, what was
Yeah.
that like for you? Was that a lot of fun?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best, My dad helped me. I did a whole thing with choreography and words in between with all these women, and based after my favorite movie at that time, which was The Never-Ending Story and book.
Oh,
So it was
yes.
very like fairy tale, and it was very um abstract, and it's very creative, and my dad somehow just let me and managed to just give me the platform to not judge. That's the one good things that I got from my home. I was just, I was never judged for all the crazy ideas, and I had dances, I had choreographies in there, I had all these wardrobe changes that I made myself, I had dialogues, I did my little, like, I did a comic book kind of with all the characters in it. I didn't know I was actually doing storyboarding at 7, but yeah, I was already doing it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
cool. I
I
actually
don't
have a,
recommend watching it, but
I actually have a friend who has a son who's very much like that. He's just so creative, and he has been since he was a little kid. She used to call him the master of his domain. So she's gonna, she posts little
Mm,
blogs about the adventures of the mod.
yeah.
So very
So,
much the same. So that's high hope for her. I'll have to let her watch again, tell her to watch the interview, and she can go, "Hey, I know that kind of kid."
Yeah. So to protect it, that's what it is, because
Yeah,
people will, you know, yeah,
yeah.
gotta protect that.
so you got your start in Russia and Russian theater, and over there, were there any TV shows that you were known for?
No, I grew up in Denmark, and then I left when I was 14 to a school in London, and then I went to Moscow and went to school there. And then I came to New York when I was 16. And that's when I kind of started, so to speak, my life and career. And that's when I started doing modeling and commercials, and I did tons of theater, and I became an amateur boxer to pay for NYU. I got into NYU, and then to make money to go to school, I had to work. And then finally I just came to Los Angeles because, NYU is expensive when you're a foreigner and you have to pay.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
yeah.
Now that's a story of perseverance. Like you really
Yeah.
persisted through all your challenges and made your dream come true. So that's a really cool story to hear for everyone out there.
But
Thank
also, I think you must have had some culture shock going from Denmark to London to Russia and then to the United States. Yeah,
Yeah, but see, when you're that age,
yeah,
everything is exciting.
yeah,
Everything's just, standing in Times Square with $75 in your pocket is exciting. Where, now at 60, like I have a little sister, and at 16, letting her, I mean, I would follow. I mean, I just, that just,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know how I survived. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I
Yeah.
was one of those
Hey,
kids.
you came out of it and you did great. I gotta say.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was one of those. Yeah. I always knew again what I wanted, like your
Yeah.
friend. Yeah.
So what was your first break into, let's say, like American theater or American acting?
Uh, when I first came, I was a backup dancer. I started in England dancing for the CNC Music Factory.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right. And then a choreographer saw me, and then I got hired to dance for Prince.
Oh wow.
And then being on stage with Prince and watching him work and the whole thing, that's when I was like, that's what I want to do. And then I went to musical theater school, and because I was a dancer, singer, and actor, so I was a triple threat. And then during the whole time, I sang in bands, always sang in bands my whole life, was signed to Warner Brothers, had a record deal, toured for 10 years. I did all that simultaneously. So this is the first time in my life, the last few years, where I have just done acting, because it was like having two lovers. But I couldn't really be there for either one, because then you're on tour for 6 months, and then the movie's shooting, and then you miss it, and then you come back, and then the bandmates, and then hates you because you've been gone. I couldn't, it was like having two lovers. So I had to choose. I still do music, but I can't tour. Yeah. So that's what happened. And that's why I've been able to, do all these wonderful movies, and I'm continuing on that path, and it just feels more, it's in music, you always play the same character. I was locked in a certain type of music, and that's what people knew me for, and that was the band I had, and where with acting, I can be anything.
Yeah.
What would we know of any of the bands that you were part of?
My last one was Letters from the Fire. So it's they call it active rock. So it's more like before that I was Dead Rose Beauty, before I was signed to Warner Brothers, and we toured with like Meatloaf, Scorpions, Disturbed, like harder kind of melodic rock, Korn, bands like that. So we would tour with those, and I got my record deal. And then, talk about getting your creativity squashed. I've been doing it for 10 years, and then I got my record deal, and they fired my band.
Oh,
Yeah.
We want you, but not them. That was one
Yeah,
of those
not
real
them.
life.
And then we want to make you a pop artist, because you can dance, you can act, you can model. And, I was a rock chick. I don't have any tattoos or piercings, but I was an angry chick that had a lot to say, that needed to get some stuff out.
And after that started, you got even angrier and had more to say, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then that's why I can see how this industry can just kill you. It was just, they wouldn't release my album. I had a 6-album deal. Actually, a guy named Paul Anka found me.
okay.
Yeah.
A guy named Paul Anka. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some dude.
Yeah. I didn't know who he was.
Oh.
And then he took me around, and I was just tired of supporting myself by acting and modeling and supporting all my bandmates. So, he was the one that got me my first record deal with Rob Cavallo at Warner Brothers, a 6-album deal. Yeah.
Nice.
That's
For our
awesome.
younger viewers who may not know, Paul Anka is a classical, very famous singer from my generation and before. So.
Yeah, I knew I did it my way. I knew that song,
Yeah.
but I didn't know Paul Anka wrote it. And I knew Frank Sinatra, but I'd never heard of
Paul Anka, the writer.
But yeah, he's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I owe that to him. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see that you came out of the music industry in one piece, because I know what that machine is like in the music industry. I got to be honest with you. I can relate here, because for my younger years, I interned for Atlantic Records, and they really liked me because I was able to get. They didn't pay me. I did it as an intern for free, because I had friends that worked there and they liked me. So I was able to get all their stuff on the radio, and they didn't have to pay the producers or the DJs to get it on. I would just like go all over the place. I had every record store in the area at the time, like Sam Goody's, FYI. I had all of them playing the music from Atlantic Records just because I gave them free demos. They were like, yeah, we'll play this. So
wow. Yeah.
they
Not
loved
anymore.
me. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And I got to go backstage and tour a lot with the bands. I met Disturbed, Stains, Cypress Hill.
Yes. I worked with those guys. I did quite a few songs with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice backstage. The one I met was their cousin, and he was interesting. He was an interesting character. Let's just say that.
Whenever Carlos says it's interesting, it means there's a story back there that we don't want to go into right now.
So you went from music, and now you got into movies, and you're focusing on acting. But you also did a time in your life. You also did some modeling. Are you still doing modeling?
It depends on how much it pays. I'll do
Okay.
it.
Okay, that makes sense.
I did it. I mean, I've done over 500 campaigns. I would do fun things like I just did last year. I did 5 spots for Saks underwear.
Okay.
I'm a balls connoisseur. It's the funniest commercial ever. It's a woman that educates men about how taking care of their balls. And it's such a fun commercial. And, they had a very extensive budget and, so anything. And then I have sponsorships. I ride motorcycles. So, I'm sponsored by Honda, by Indian, by Z1R, like their brands, all the clothing. And so I do like things now that I stand behind more. Like before I would model anything, like now it has to be something I believe in.
That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
you're a rocker and a biker chick. I think I'm in love.
So I guess from that transition, it kind of makes sense that like now at this point in your life to focus on acting. You're like a triple threat. You do everything. You even did some boxing, and I mean like that's crazy. Like this is an amazing story that you have, and all the countries you've been to, I'm like mind blown already. Do you speak more than one language?
I speak 5.
Wow. That is insane. That's crazy. So we saw you in your newest project that you were in.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, do you want to talk about it a little bit?
You forgot the name, did
No.
you?
Don't call me. No.
No, I didn't forget the name. I just know that you love the movie. You saw it.
Oh yeah.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I recently I just watched Cold Meat last night, as a matter of fact, and it's an amazing movie. You did a great job. In fact, the entire cast did a wonderful job. I was hooked from the opening scene on. I couldn't turn away. It was so well done, and this is something you should be proud of. The whole team should be proud of.
Thank you. Yeah, it's when you were like me, I told the director too, I thought he did a fantastic job, but if you're like me, a perfectionist, I'm like, if we did it again, then I could have done this, and maybe I should have done, it's the critical mind, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I'm very happy. I'm happy with it too. So thank you, and it means a lot. That was put a lot of heart and soul into this one.
Yeah, and like I said, yeah, from just the way it was shot, the way you feel isolated, like the characters, but the music and the way it's all done, it's literally a sit on the edge of your seat. What's going to happen next thing? It is very suspenseful. I think you guys did that very well.
Yay! That makes me so happy to hear, because it's not out in the world yet, so it's always a little bit nerve-wracking,
I would not be surprised if you win some awards from some of the festivals.
Oh, thank you.
I would say it's deserved. I would say it's deserved.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
If you don't, Carla will be out on the picket line because I'm in a.
They had a premiere at Fright Fest.
Oh,
but
good.
We couldn't go, the actors, because of the SAG strike, so we didn't get a waiver to go. So Alan and I couldn't go. We couldn't watch. Alan was there. He ended up in a bar. We couldn't watch the movie. We couldn't do the red carpet. We couldn't do interviews, but we got amazing reviews. Alan got nominated for Best Leading Actor. It was received very, very well, but that was the only place that it has been shown so far.
Oh, I feel special now. Let me just say, I will wave this flag a lot when it gets released and tell people they need to see it.
You.
Yeah.
So, Colleen, how long did it take to film this from start to finish?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but it was 12 days.
Okay.
Wow.
That's impressive. That's actually
That's-
very
So it
impressive.
was like a play. Because a lot of the money had to go to special effect. It has to go to all this stuff because, you know, the director, he comes from a special effects background. But even though you don't see really the special effects, you know, there was snow, but it didn't look like that. I mean, he
I
created.
was gonna say if there was that much snow, yeah.
Yeah, he created a lot of it, you know, but he made it look so real. So they shot it in 12 days. So we shot it like a play. Like Alan and I had to learn it like a play, you know, not like regular movies. You say a couple of lines and then cut and then yeah, it was like doing a play, you know, rehearsing it. And so that was for me the fun part because you could really, especially with a movie like that, it's hard to stop. You know, I liked it better when we got to do the full scenes and really get into it. So yeah, it was
Did-
12 hard shooting days and then, you know, pick up shots.
Yeah. Did you shoot it in order? In
As much as they could. Before
Yeah.
that, we just did a movie called Hell Hath No Fury.
right.
And with that movie, I asked, because a World War II movie and they shaved my head and stuff. So I was like, it has to be in chronological order because she had to shrink. She had to, you know, and it helped so much. So I begged the director, I was like, can we please do it in as close to the order as possible as she starts deteriorating and falling apart. And, you know, cold meat, it just makes it so much easier for us actors. And you get better performances.
Yep. And you're right. You do start to deteriorate a bit and fall apart. And so if you do that in order, you don't have to go back and, okay,
Yeah.
today we got to put this makeup back on because your nose is freezing or whatever,
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
like, you know, there was some pickup shots and it's trying to remember where you were and what stage and how frozen were you. And yeah, so it's always better with movies like that to do it in chronological order. Yeah.
In this project, what was the most challenging thing for you as an actor?
I think living in Anna's shoes, you know, I'm a health nut. I'm very healthy and I feel very strong on a daily basis and I never feel like a victim. I was a victim when I was younger, you know, I was so young. And I think there's a reason why I became a boxer and martial artist and all this stuff. And to live in Anna's shoes and go back to how I used to feel, you know, when I came to New York, I mean, I slept on a bench in Central Park, you
Oh,
know, and I
wow.
didn't know how to fight. You know, so to go back to that victim mode of, you know, no money, you know, having you know, I worked in the restaurant. I worked in an underground backgammon club, illegal. You know, she works in a restaurant and you make little money and, you know, abusive relationships and she doesn't have the physical power to defend herself. She probably eats crap. She probably feels like crap. Or at least that's how I, you know, did it. I put on, you can't tell, 18 pounds and I just, you know, I didn't feel good
Yeah.
as a human being shooting this, but that's where I had to go to kind of like, because Anna doesn't feel good. You know, she's just a normal person who is trying to make money to support her daughter and she lives with her mom. You know, it's she doesn't get to wake up in the morning like I do and, you know, jump out of bed and go for a run and feel good about myself and, you know, ask myself what I can give the world today. You know, she's just surviving, barely surviving. And then,
Yeah, I was gonna say, and because of that, you could tell that she had to put that smile on her face, no matter what was
yes,
going on. She always had to and make the customer feel welcome, and
yeah. And she was a
even
beauty,
after a certain
you
scene,
know?
and she comes back and she goes, "I'm so sorry," even though she wasn't at fault for any of it. She feels like she has to apologize for what just happened. So you can tell
Yeah.
she's got that victim mentality. Yeah,
Yes. And I know that feeling all too well.
yeah,
So it's, you know, it wasn't nice going back in there because I left it. You know, I promised myself I would never
yeah.
be in an abusive relationship. I would never, you know, I did so much work on myself so I would never end up in a place where she is. And she did. So that was really hard to go back there. I mean, she finds her inner strength, but it was hard to live there. I just woke up in the morning and I felt like crap. You know, and I was like, oh, Nina, that's Anna that feels like crap. You know, it's not you. Because I was like, I don't know if I can do this movie. I'm not right for it. Oh, I feel, you know, and we were shooting out in the middle of nowhere and I'm just eating greasy, weird food for breakfast, and you eat it and you're just like, ugh. I didn't feel good shooting the movie, but Anna didn't feel good.
Yeah. So that leads, okay. So that leads me, are you a method actor?
All the way.
Always? Yeah. So
I don't know
that,
any other way.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was very interesting because Alan is such a pro, I think, because he's been doing that show for 8 years. So he can jump in and out. They'll be playing music on set, they'll be dancing, and he'll just jump in it. And I'll be the one that's like, please turn off the music, open all the windows to make the soundstage cold because it's cold in the scene. And
Right.
I was like the boring, dry. They would go out every night, and so it was a great crowd of people on this movie. And I didn't get to really know anyone because I finished shooting and I go home,
Yeah.
do my work, and so yeah. So Alan, I think, had a lot more fun than me. It's a curse sometimes,
Yeah.
to work.
I will say, you being able to go back to your past and draw on that, though, is what made that character so special and so truthful to that character.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the worst feeling
Yeah.
of being that helpless and feeling that she is a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's how it starts.
At least that's how it starts. Yeah, that's why that's why I fell in love with the character, because I love those characters where they seem like normal girls, and then they have to dig inside themselves and find something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has that, yeah, without doing all the stuff that I did and that I do to feel good.
Right.
She had to just, go in there, and I got to feel a little bit what it was like. I don't have kids, but I have siblings that are raised, I have 4 younger siblings. So I got that feeling a little bit. Sometimes it's easier to do something for someone else.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to survive in her case because she has a daughter. So even if you have such low self-esteem, you can find strength within yourself because you have a daughter that needs you. So that was very helpful for me to play with that.
So
Yeah.
we just learned about the most challenging aspect for you. What was the most fun aspect of this project?
I think working with Ellen and then having a director that trusted us and just let us go. In the beginning, the director had a very clear vision of what he wanted because he had that project for a very long time. I mean, he did all the special effects. He did all the music. The director did all the music for this movie. He edited the movie. I mean, he had such a clear vision. So in the beginning, when I came in, he was like, oh, no, Anna wouldn't do that. She would do this. She would do that, And I was like, well, that's not okay, that's not my Anna. My Anna would, so it was a little challenging in the beginning. And then finally he realized, oh, okay, those two have a very clear vision of where they want to go. And he kind of let us do it. And as the movie went on, he kind of let us do it. And to be there with a director who supports you, with a fellow actor who is willing to play and just, is really there. I mean, Alan just goes for it. He's scary. I mean, he can be very scary. I mean, it's just I can't, it's kind of like a little bit like being in a band when everything just clicks and you're on stage and the chords just click and the crowd and you feel it, and it's like you're in the moment and you forget about everything else. I think that's the moments I live for. You're on set and you're in the character and there's just that one moment. It's like, I guess, what the Buddhist monks try to get, just clear that mind and you're just in the now. And I feel like that's what acting is. When it really clicks, Ellen and I just had some moments where we just disappeared into those characters and we were just really there. And that to me is, even if it's 30 seconds, 2 minutes, that's what.
And you know what? That's a sign of a good
That's
director too.
it.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah. That's a good sign of a good director too, that over a 12-day shoot, he learned pretty quickly to trust you and Alan to do what you were hired to do. And
Yeah, but it was big for him. I mean, he worked on it for 10 years and he had a very clear vision, and it was a very good vision. And then he realized that we both had our own thing. and I think in the end, I mean, he was so happy. He was like, wow, it's not what he saw, but he was so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's good. I have very high hopes for him. It was his first feature film.
Oh wow.
Ooh, wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, he's
impressive.
French.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that,
he wrote it, and he's French. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just really impressed with that guy.
And he did the music too, and I think
And
I don't remember if I mentioned it during, but before I mentioned, the music works very well in this movie to build up the tension,
yeah, I
and
thought he
he
did
did a great
fantastic.
job. Yeah,
Maybe because he's French, so he's like very tasteful. I felt like everything was very tastefully done and it was very grounded and it felt real. Like nothing took you out of the movie.
no, not one thing. I mean, like I said, you
Yeah.
felt as isolated as the characters were. You were like, okay, what's going to happen now? And just the interaction between you and Alan, or when it was Vince, when it was in the diner scene again, and you can't turn away. You're just watching this develop, because like you said, Alan is an incredible actor. He was very intense in that scene. But it was a calm intensity. That was the freaky part. He
Yeah.
stayed so calm in a situation that you would expect him to, like, bow up
I,
a little bit or show. Nope, he stayed very calm. Like,
I know. Well,
you
she
have
felt
two
him,
choices.
right?
He sold that whole scene. The whole, you have
I
two
know.
choices.
I know.
It's
He's
just,
so good.
yeah, he really is.
Yeah, but
But
that makes it fun because then it's
yeah,
easy. Because then I just have to listen and look and react, and then that's it.
yeah,
It makes my job so much easier when you work with people like that. I mean, I believed him in
yeah.
that scene. I really did. In that second, I
So did
did.
I. So I was like, wonderful. Because
Yeah.
I'm used to scenes like that where you see somebody being calm like that. And the next thing you see, they're sticking a fork in somebody's hand,
I know.
So, and he never went there, so it's good.
Hmm.
But you're right. And I will say this movie it's not dialogue heavy. A lot of it is just the looks and the trading looks back and forth and the looks on the faces. A lot of it is nonverbal,
Yeah.
and that makes it work as well.
Yeah. That's very true. Yeah. Which is the
Yeah.
hardest sometimes, right?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
did a great job. Yeah, you did an amazing job. You really did.
Well, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
really glad it paid off. As I said, sometimes
Yeah.
in those movies, like there was one day on set, I was like, I don't email, I don't really talk to anyone. I really, try to go there. Listen to all of that interviews, get all the material that I can
Yeah.
get on the situation that I was in. And sometimes, like, I remember towards the end of the shoot, I was like, why am I doing this? Why am why? I mean, I could have a really nice life
Right.
and just wake up at 9 to 5 and, I was like, why are you
Yeah.
putting yourself through this? I mean, why? But
But that kind of brings up my next question. How long did it take you to shed Anna after the final cut was called?
it was hard. I couldn't yeah, I couldn't do it. It was really difficult. Um I don't know why I had such a hard time shaking her because, I did like Hell Hath No Fury and I had to shave my head and I,
Right.
lost again like
Yeah.
15, 18 pounds. And this one, I couldn't get the weight off and I felt a little more like, I can't remember, like I was in the grocery store and some guy was doing something rude. And I was like, normally I've been like, hey, that wasn't very nice, was it? And I was just like, quiet, you
Yeah.
know? Standing there and I was like, what are you doing? Say something. And I was
Mhm.
like, I kept her with me for a long time. So I remember I had to like go back in the gym. I started boxing. I started training. I started like to just kind of like sweat her out. I signed up for hot yoga. I was like, maybe I can just sweat her out. Yeah, because I still could feel I was like mousing around a little bit from her, like even the way she stands, she doesn't stand like that. She's more
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like a little more like that, you know. It takes me a long time to shake. Yeah. I always feel like once the movie is done is when I wish we were shooting because then I'm really there.
Yeah. So it sounds like you got really attached to the character in some sense because of how you could relate, and maybe it took longer for you to shed that kind of process of the character from you.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, I feel like, I thought I got all of that out of my system. I mean, as you know, I sang in a band for 10 years and I screamed it all out, and all my songs were about all the horrible things that happened to me, and I boxed it all out. And then you do a movie like that, and then you go, oh no, it's not gone at all. It's all right there. And that's what I think I've learned, especially after I did this movie. All those things and demons and our past and all that stuff, it doesn't go away. We just learn to live with it, and maybe we can like put it away on a shelf. But
Yeah.
it's always gonna be on the shelf. It's never gonna go away. Like all of that stuff is never gonna go away. It's just I can just like not let it run my life, but it's all right there. And if I turn on the lights, it's like all right there. And that's what was a little bit scary with Anna, because I was like, wow, so fast. Like I can revert to that place way too fast. I thought I was like way above it and way past it.
So have you gone back and watched the final cut?
I watched the full movie, yeah. It took
Yeah.
me like 2 weeks to watch it because I was so scared. I had the link and I was like, oh. I was just
Yeah.
scared, and my friends were like, let's watch it together. And I was like, no, I just need to sit by myself
Yeah.
and watch it. And then it was so funny because I got sucked into the movie and I forgot it was me.
Well, that's good.
Acting.
That's the sign of a great movie right
I,
there.
I yeah, I thought so. And then I spoke to Alan and he hasn't watched it because he wants to watch it on the big screen.
Ah.
Okay. So one question I have for you is, I know Alan, he was on Downton Abbey. I always say it wrong. I say it's Downtown Abbey, but it's Downton Abbey. So before you got into this role and this character, and you knew he was going to be co-starring with you in this movie, did you watch any of his previous stuff? Is that a process for you, or do you just go in blind and be like, I'm just going to do it for the first time with this individual or this castmate?
Um, well, I watched a little bit, but his character is so different. So I was like, okay, he's a really good actor. So that I knew. But normally they have chemistry tests for parts like this, and we did not have a chemistry test. We had our chemistry test in the lobby when we first met. That was like our chemistry test. The producers walked me in, he was there, and we just stood in the lobby like two feral animals, just staring at each other for 5 minutes without saying anything. She was like looking at me, I was like looking at him, he was looking at me. He's like, and then we're just standing there, and the producers and the director are like, what? And then finally I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, this is gonna work. This is totally gonna work. We can do this. So, and then from there on, then we just clicked. So we just both wanted the same thing. We had the chemistry. He's very intense when he works too. Yeah, I didn't want to watch. I don't like to watch too much of the other actors work before I meet them, because they're, it's so different. I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know how he's gonna approach the character. I don't know how he's gonna be. Yeah, I just like to keep it fresh.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And he is intent. I'll tell you what, even when he's acting, you can see the difference between his characters when he's wearing the glasses and when he's not. There's
Yeah.
a switch there that happens. That's very
Yes.
subtle, but it's there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very subtle actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. That
Yeah.
was the very scary part, because what about if we met and I looked at him and he looked at me, and we'd be like, and there was nothing, because there has to be a chemistry between the actors. Even if it's, the actors don't get along or whatever, there has to be some kind of chemistry.
Yeah. That look like they'll work well together on screen, even if they,
Yeah, there's just something.
yeah.
And luckily, the director just had a feeling that both of us would work. I mean, the director never met Ellen, and the director just saw Hell Hath No Fury with me, and he knew that's the girl I want. And then he just went like this.
I'm gonna have to go catch Hell Hath No Fury now. I'm kind of watching them in reverse order. But,
Yeah. It's a really good one too. And then I have another one come out. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Uh, so one thing I wanted to ask you is, and this is going back a little bit in your career, but we see a lot of video game iterations coming out onto, TVs and more movies now, like TV shows and more movies. Like we see Last of Us and all this other stuff. And I noticed that you were in Doom.
Yes.
So if let's say Microsoft brought Doom, a TV show out there, is that something that you would be interested in?
Yes, 100%. But I would rather play Battery.
Oh, nice. Yes. No, I could agree with that. Yeah.
She's just so cool and she's so fun and she has more personality. Where I think the Doom characters are not, I think it's a great game. But Battery, she's a little more interesting to me. She's a little more personality. So I would play her in a heartbeat. And when you go to the conventions, I used to go to Comic-Cons and do all the signings, and I would watch all different kind of people dress up at Battery. It was the funniest things. Guys would dress up at her, young kids would dress up at her. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Well, right now when I go to conventions, I see a lot of Ghosts, from Call of Duty, but I never seen Battery yet. So that would be very interesting for me to see. I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
I have dudes, I have like little kids, I have, people dress up as her. Yeah. I didn't know either. I didn't know it was such a big thing until I started going to the conventions, to do signings, and people were like, "Oh, Battery's real!" Like little kids. They'll just stand there and stare because they all think that they're not real. I mean, we're not real, but
Right.
it's based after a human. Yeah.
Yeah, that brings me to a question. So at the conventions, when you did your sign-ins and you went to them and you saw some cosplayers dress up as Battery, were you like, "Oh, I need a picture of you. Can I get a picture of you?" Did you go out and be like, "Hey, can I get a picture of you?"
I think I must have some pictures of them. Yeah, I think we must have, but I mean that's what you do all day long. You stand in the
Yeah.
booth and you take picture. And my agent was like one of those. I would always like little kids would come up or fans of my music would come up that had followed me for years, and I would want to do a picture, and my agent would be there. And no, you gotta pay. Like they're very strict for that. Where I'm a lot nicer. Because they're fans and they get so excited, and my agent's like, "Nina, you can't do it because this is your career and this is your job. You have to charge." So I always had a hard time with that. So I always stayed like behind my table, and then people would come and then I'd take the pictures.
I mean,
If
that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's some floating around with
Yeah.
fun batteries.
I got to see that now.
That must have been fun though, the first time you saw that, when you went somewhere and you saw somebody dressed as your character.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah. I didn't really know because I was in a band and everyone always played video games and I never did. So I didn't really understand the vastness of video
Yeah.
games. And then all of a sudden, you come to Times Square and there you are in Times Square, plastered everywhere.
Wow. Yeah.
And Black Ops 4 came out and I was like, wow, this is a big deal. This is like a big deal being Battery. I didn't realize, and I was like, damn, I should have asked for more money. Because they have tops, they have t-shirts, they have books, they have,
Yeah.
I mean, they have hats, they have
Yeah.
cutout boards of me, they have
Yeah.
like
Yep.
ginormous billboards, and I didn't know.
Next time get in on merchandising. You get in on-
So,
Yeah.
do you think that you'll do any conventions in the future again?
Yeah, I think so. I did another video game that I shot that's hopefully it'll be out soon so I can talk about it. And then I want to do more conventions, definitely. I love being with fans, and also because of music, that's what you do after every show, you do signings. And I just love people. Some people don't like it. I love people. I could do it all day long. So it's just so much fun. It's a lot of fun. I like it. And I mean, some of the costumes are amazing. It's just incredible. I love those conventions. I'll do them again.
That's something that we actually cover a lot as press for Outlet. Is we go to a lot of different conventions like San Diego Comic-Con, WonderCon.
I do GalaxyCon. I do all the GalaxyCons normally.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys go to those.
Oh, we will. Yeah.
Okay.
We will now, yeah. We'll make sure that's
Okay,
under
they're
our sword.
everywhere. Okay. Okay. Yeah, some of them are big, some of them are,
Yeah.
but there's some great ones. Yeah. Okay. I'll let you guys know next time. I have an agent for that too, and he's like, "Come on, Nina, let's book it." And then we tried, and then I booked something, and then we tried again. So but I'll keep trying to make it happen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So everybody watching, if you see Nina at a convention, definitely stop by her booth and her table, and if you're dressed up as Battery, that's even cooler. So I'll put that out there for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell them 4GQTV sent you. Like, oh, I know those guys. Yeah, I talked to those guys.
Yes.
So you wrapped up Cold Meat, and are you allowed to say what's on your horizon in the future?
Yeah, so it was just announced, I think last week, that a movie that I did with Aaron Eckhart, called Chief of Station, is coming out in May. I think May the 24th. And it's Jesse Johnson that directed it, that I worked with before, that did Hell Hath No Fury, and it's an action movie, but my character is very again, I'm not doing action for once, which is nice. So it's a very interesting character, and it's a fun movie, it's action, and Aaron Eckhart is fantastic in it. He's just a great actor. Yeah. So
I don't think Aaron's been in anything bad yet. I really seriously.
no, he's like me. I thought I was method, and then I just got method. Because I look over and he's like in his corner. I'm in my corner, and I was like, oh, he's I'm not alone. He's in his corner too the whole time. Yeah. It was we shot in Budapest.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that one comes out in May. A Chief of Station.
Okay.
So
Your
interaction. Yeah. So I'm not the lead, but my part is good. But you never know. I'm always scared of promoting movies, because I'm like, what about if they cut me out? And then here I am promoting it, and then you get cut out. You never know sometimes. So I have that one come out, and then I have 2 that I'm shooting this year.
Oh, nice.
I have a motorcycle movie that's next.
Okay. That's awesome. It's really good to see you busy. It's really good to know where you came from, and to see you here and being successful and making it through what you did, and now project after project. That's really cool to see that for you.
Thank you. Thank you. And if I can do the music for those movies too, then I'll be the happiest
girl
on the planet. So the motorcycle movie, I'm definitely planning on doing, because my music kind of fits those kind of movies. So.
And we'll know it's a good soundtrack too, if that's the case, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that coming up. So that's exciting. Yeah. So keeping busy. It's after the strike and after everything, it's been like, it was discouraging there for a little bit, and then now it's like slowly all coming back. All the projects got pushed, so they're happening.
I was gonna say, I noticed for Cold Meat, it had IMDb had a date of 2023, but I'm assuming it got a little delayed because of the strike.
Yeah, because we had the premiere. I mean, Ellen flew out there and went to a bar, Irish pub. He called me from the pub. It was it was a rough time. We couldn't promote anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't go and see it. We couldn't go and see our own movie.
Yeah, but now look how busy you are.
They're all on the red carpet. They're filming. Everyone is on the red carpet. Well, we couldn't go because we SAG.
Yeah.
When we went to San Diego Comic-Con, it was this past year. It was right at the height when the strike was really getting heated. So all the actors that we were supposed to interview at San Diego Comic-Con, instead of being the actors, it was the directors and the producers, because all the SAG actors were on strike. They wouldn't go to the convention to talk about the projects.
Yeah.
Rough times.
I'm glad that's over.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, unless it's a struck company, I think technically you could, but SAG scared us. We were all like, oh,
Yeah.
we're all paranoid. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. It makes sense though,
I
you
can
know. It
support it. Yeah, we support
absolutely.
it. Yeah. So, but now, yeah, now it's opening up. So now it's finally all, coming together, and I can't wait to talk more about, what's coming up next. But, I have to wait until they announce it.
I know you should come back on and talk about it with us because we'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Yes. We
Yeah.
definitely cover video games. So yeah, you definitely need to come back on and
Yeah,
tell
and
us
video
about it.
games. Yeah, we have one more. I have one more. Uh-huh.
Nice.
So
Yes.
when is Cold Meat getting released officially? Do you know?
So they have the screening on the 17th at Kino. So it's online because we already had our premiere in London.
Right.
So now they have a worldwide premiere the 17th, and you can go online and you can buy tickets, and you can see it anywhere in the world. And then there'll be a Q&A after, and Ellen and I are going to be at the Q&A. So it's kind of a fun way that they're doing it now. And I think it's very clever because my family in Denmark can see it. My little sister lives in Australia. She can see it. So people all over the world can come to the premiere, and then we have a Q&A after.
Very nice. Yeah, I actually have a very good friend of mine who lives in Denmark. She moved from Houston to Denmark. She's from Denmark. And yeah, her and her husband moved to Denmark. They have a few kids now. But yeah, I'm going to have to point it out to her and tell her she needs to watch it.
Denmark, yeah, Denmark is it's an amazing place to have kids.
It's one of the places I'd love to go visit because everything I've seen, it's beautiful. I mean,
It is the happiest country in the world, they say.
Yeah, they say, yeah. Yeah.
So one last question I have for you is, I was going through some of your older stuff, and I know it's like a short film that you did, but I just want to say, as a comic book fan, you were a fantastic Wonder Woman.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, Jesse Johnson and I did that as before all of the Wonder Woman stuff. We were the first one to do it, and we wanted it to do it a little more gritty and a little more real. And then I went audition for Wonder Woman. He went and auditioned, to write it and all this stuff. But they wanted, the more glamorous version, I think, of Wonder Woman at the time. And but yeah, I thought Jesse Johnson did really good. We had Timothy V. Murphy and Peter Stormare in it, and I thought I really liked his interpretation. And again, it was one of those things where Jesse was like, if you have to do it, you have to color your hair black. And I was like, Jesse, it's just short, but commitment, go all the way. Yeah. So I remember I had to color my hair black. It was like a whole thing, prepped for it. And yeah, it was, I thought he did really good. So thank you. Yeah, it was a fun Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So in the future, just putting it out there, to Warner Brothers, if you ever need, another Wonder Woman for a multiverse or whatever it might be, here's Nina. You should definitely use Nina because that was great. Right.
Thank you. Yeah, but she was very real at the time too. I put on like 15 pounds and I pumped, and I think they wanted someone a little more, fun and glamorous. And I walked in there with my black hair, and I walked in like as Wonder Woman, and I think when I walked in there and they were all like looking at me, and I was like, oh shit, maybe maybe it's not the Wonder Woman they want, it was, they want someone a little more, and Gal Gadot was, I thought, honestly, if that's the direction you were going, I think she's the perfect Wonder Woman, and she's a sweetheart. She's the real deal. I was very, very, very happy she got it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think she did a fantastic job in the movies as well.
I think so too. I really do. But if they want to go a different direction, I'm in.
Well, there's always that what is it that what's the term I want to use? The alternative superhero genre, like The Boys. You could be a really gritty angry hero, right? There you go.
I did audition for one of the things. But I remember auditioning for the Wonder Woman in that, but I wasn't Canadian. So for me to move there and be a local hire, I would almost lose money.
Oh.
to do it. And then they had me in again for another part, I remember, but I was too young. And I was like, I can put on weight and get wrinkled and but I have to be like this, like a little older woman. And I didn't see the episodes. I didn't see the new character. Her name is Nina. Just my name. And then she's like this S&M woman that, yeah, it was, I haven't seen it, but no, I love that show.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
an
it.
amazing
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that show. But then I was busy doing cold meat and other things. When
All
you do
right.
TV shows, it's hard to do anything else.
Yeah.
That is true. Yes. It's a longer season, dedication to the making sure you're on set for everybody. I mean, that's
Yes.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is where Paul asks his favorite icebreaker question.
It's not, I'm going to break him of this habit. It's not icebreaker. Icebreakers are at the beginning. This is just kind of a fun question we ask at the end of all the interviews. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sorry, this interview is over. It's no kidding.
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Carlo and I are both Italian. We're both no's on the whole pineapple on pizza thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's what you grew up with, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
what you
Yeah, it
grew
is.
up
Yeah.
with. Like, to me, pineapple fits on pizza because that's what you grow up with.
Yeah. I'm
I mean,
not
they
a big
even have it
pineapple
on.
fan in general either, but that's
Oh,
part of the
you don't
problem.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though I have had fresh, actual fresh pineapple up there falling off the tree. Let's crack it open and eat it. I have had that, and that's good. Same with coconut. That's the only way I'll eat coconut is
But not on
fresh
pizza.
off the tree, but not out of the store where it's been allowed to falsely ripen and stuff. Fresh is best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree 100%. 100%. But I would only eat it if it was vegan pizza,
Yeah.
Don't eat animal products. I haven't for a long, 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 long time.
And that's probably how you stay so healthy and energetic too.
Yeah, I mean, I have like, the problem is when you're so clean, if I had a slice of pizza, I would be like, I'll probably get not true, because you know what? I was in Italy last year and I had to cheat because I thought I was going to pass out, and I had a little bit of pizza. I mean, the vegan police would probably kill me, but I had a little bit of vegan pizza. And I didn't get sick because I think the ingredients and the gluten and the flour and everything in Italy, it's just so fresh and there's no chemicals that it doesn't make me sick.
Yes, that is true. That's very true.
Yeah.
So yeah. But here, I think if I had a regular pizza, even in New York City, I think I'll be sick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you could fold it and the grease is like roll right down. Yes.
Yeah.
We've had we have a New Yorker as part of our 4GQ TV family who teases Carlo because Carlo apparently doesn't know how to eat pizza. So
I do, but
he doesn't know how to fold it correctly. It just falls apart.
Yeah, no, it was rigged. The whole thing was rigged. Trust me, Nina. I know it was rigged because I could tell when people were acting, and when he handed me the slice, it was already like
You knew.
Yeah, I knew because it was cut on the side. It was rigged. It was rigged.
That is hilarious. Yeah, that's funny. Well, now I want pizza.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. This was a great interview.
Thank you so much.
And Cold Meat is a movie that I think everybody should see. It is listed as a horror movie, which it really isn't. It's more of a suspense thriller. So don't let the horror tag throw you off. It is very much a suspense thriller. And I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna make sure all my friends see it when it drops. Gonna get some information on that premiere date. Make sure we share that out as well.
Yes.
And how to get the tickets if they want to see it during the premiere and watch the Q&A afterwards, which I might do it even though I've seen the movie because I'd like to watch the Q&A. Yeah. So,
yeah, on the 17th.
17th of January, correct? Or February,
No,
rather.
February, 17th of
February.
February, and it's 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
So 6 p.m. Eastern. Got it.
Okay, awesome. Well, Nina, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. It was fun talking to you. You are amazing. Your whole story, your whole life is just an example that I think, if somebody's struggling, they could look at this and be like, you know what? If Nina made it, I can make it too. So thank you for sharing that with us, and your future projects. We're looking forward to seeing those as well. And we hope that you enjoyed your time here and that you come back on when those drop.
Definitely coming back on. Yes, we got to talk about motorcycles and video games and Comic-Cons when I book them and all that stuff.
Right. Anytime you have any projects coming out, even the ones we don't know about yet, it'd be great to have you back because we want to know about all that stuff.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate it. And I'll make sure you get the links for the 17th.
Oh, thank you.
All that
Appreciate that.
information.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Nina.
Thank you.